Sounds like the mayor there.
It is. All right, let's start this meeting at 7 o'clock. We'll call the council meeting for the city of Casa Grande to order. The first two items on the agenda are the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Matt, if you wouldn't mind leading us in the invocation, and then I will lead everybody in the Pledge of Allegiance from here. If you guys would just leave your phones on mute because there's a little bit of a delay, but you can follow along. Go ahead, Mr.
All right,
Herman.
thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Heavenly Father, we come to you humbly this week again and ask your blessings over our city, our nation, and the world as we go through these most difficult times. We ask that you give us guidance tonight to make the right decisions and make wise decisions to help the best of our city and our citizens. We also ask that you watch over especially all of our first responders, all the people working in hospitals, all the people on the front lines, including grocery workers, truck drivers, and everyone else that's helping this world keep on track as best we can right now. And we also ask you watch over all of our citizens and small business people, especially those who aren't able to work right now, and help them see through this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
of the United States of America, and to the republic
which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We need to
Mayor
find
McFarland, the next item would be the city council meeting minutes. And I would move approval of the city council regular meeting minutes from April 6th as presented, and then that we accept for the record the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes from March 5th and the 2030 General Plan Steering Forum minutes from February 19th as they're presented.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. I think Mary was first. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, we should. Even though it's not on my agenda, I should know better. Well, let's take this motion that's in front of us here. We'll approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. And also let the record show that all council members are present. All right, the next item on the agenda is item D. Oh. And my apologies, roll call is on there.
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims dated April 1st through 14th, 2020, as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the claims for April 1 through 14 and April 15 through 28. All those in...
No, I just did the first one. Can
I get an amendment to it, or do we need to be separate?
I would just vote on it at this point.
Okay.
He may have a reason for not having done the second.
Okay, we'll then it's just a motion for the April 1st to the 14th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item D2.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve the claims dated April 15th through 28th as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the claims for April 15th through the 28th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, before we go too much further, let me just, I was going to do this at the beginning, but I just wanted to kind of, for those who are watching, and we apologize that we're kind of stumbling around, but this is strange technology for us to conduct a council meeting, And as everyone knows, due to the impact of the federal, state, and local declarations of public health emergency due to this COVID-19 pandemic, we are conducting this meeting remotely, so to speak, with just myself here in the council chambers, along with a select number of staff. So that being said, we're trying to keep the numbers to 10 at the minimum, or at the maximum. Plus, we are broadcasting this live on Cox Channel 11, as well as the Channel 11 live stream that you can get to via the city's website. So I just want to make sure everybody was clear on that. We're going to hopefully try and go back to some normalcy, hopefully at the next city council meeting, which is the 18th. And so we won't have to kind of fall all over ourselves here. Okay, next item is the meeting agenda approval. Does anybody have any changes to that agenda? Staff have any changes?
We have none, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody on the council? Okay.
No.
Okay, hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Mayor McFarland, I move that we approve the meeting agenda as presented.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, meeting agenda is approved. We'll move to the next item, which is the item G, which is our consent agenda. The items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Does anybody have anything that you want to remove from the consent agenda?
This is Dick, G5.
Okay. All right, we'll remove G5. Anything else? Staff, anything?
We have none, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, seeing none, then I'll entertain a
Mayor
motion.
McFarland, I move approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call vote, please, Gloria?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes?
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, then we'll go to item G5, which is the next item on the agenda. Mr. Powell, do you want to explain and or ask a question on this
Yes,
particular
I
item?
do. I'd like to explain. I'm not understanding completely why this is being done under the police department. And in the budget summary, it has fringe benefits. What are fringe benefits in that budget summary?
Councilmember Powell, this is Lieutenant Palmer.
Yes.
To answer your question, the fringe benefits would be the additional payroll tied to our hourly rates when we do overtime for the officers. If we're paying them out of a grant, that includes like the health benefits, things like that increase that hourly rate.
Okay, and that's $1,752 or 17. Yeah. The thing I wanted to really look at is I don't know what we're doing for our community. I know we need to make sure that the fire and police have uniforms, are safely able to do their jobs, and we appreciate what they do, and that is dangerous at times. What I'm wondering, I know when we had the summertime, we had police carrying water, and water available from different, people around town. I also saw over the weekend that Casa Grande is the hotbed that, as far as the paper's concerned, of COVID-19, in Pinell County. And that's not a good thing, but, I guess we deal with it. But what I'm going on from there, I would like to see some of this money, a little bit of it, done to buy face masks and gloves that police and fire could hand out as necessary to people, like we do on the water. I went to Walgreens today, and I bought the last package they had of face masks. The public's unable, in large part, to find out where to get face masks. And also the gloves are not available. And either, I got the last one, it's 50 pieces for $30 on the face mask, but it was the last one they had. And so how are people going to be safe? I know it's good for people that work for the city to be safe, but it's also good for people that live in the city to be safe. And I don't think we're reaching out enough to our community to make sure that we have face masks available and that we have gloves available. I mentioned this once before because so many people don't know that and put themselves in danger when they're not able to mask up like they're supposed to. So I would like to see that amended to take maybe $1,000 or whatever out of that that we were using and use for the community's benefit.
Councilor Powell, this is Mark McCrory. That grant specifically limits to how the money from that grant can be used, and it can be used for police overtime or police equipment only. It doesn't allow for us to, or a first responder, it doesn't allow for us to hand those out.
So really it doesn't do anything for the community. It does protect our officers, which is very important. So I return to my premise I began with. I do not think we're handling the community properly in Casa Grande, and if it's not being able to be done by that, then I would like to see staff provide some money to come up with, you could have these things at fire departments or police cars or whatever, but even if it wasn't taken out of that budget. I understand, Chief, that budgets are budgets and the money has to be spent as provided for. But as I say, I look at our community and I just don't think we're doing a good job on reaching out and protecting the people in our community.
And Councilmember Powell and Chief, I would add as well that purchases of certain PPE gear have been restricted by the federal government and the World Health Organization to community members intentionally because of the inability for public safety and hospitals to acquire it for their staff who are on the front lines. So there's a reason why citizens can't just go on Amazon and purchase this equipment. It's been blocked off, it's been locked out unless you are a registered public safety organization or a hospital. You can't purchase that equipment because it's limited. And so this grant was designed specifically for us, and Chief McCrory allocated $20,000 of this grant to the fire department as well, even though it's a criminal justice department, U.S. Department of Justice grant, for that purpose also, for all of us to be able to purchase the needed PPE gear for the officers and firefighters.
And that's extremely important. I support that 100%.
And Mr. Mayor,
Can I ask? Can I ask for a minute? This is Mary. When would it be appropriate? I know what Councilmember Powell is saying. When would it be appropriate for us to have this discussion?
Mr. Mayor, and Council Members Powell and Courtson, if I can just briefly outline my thoughts on the feedback that we're receiving from the council this evening. As the Chief and Lieutenant Palmer have outlined in their response, this particular grant is funding that has to be used for specific uses. And the city, as a result of the COVID-19 incidents and some of the federal legislation that's been passed, there's been specific pots of money that have gone out to various purposes. But based on what I'm hearing from the council this evening, what I will do, and I know that the mayor is part of the conversation that we have 3 times a week with the county, is we will make inquiry about whether or not there's any, number one, if there's any available funds through the federal government that could be available for these types of personal protective equipment items. Second, if not, then if there's not any funding that can be found, then ultimately we will do some research from a city's perspective. I will say that I know that there are a number of local residents that are making face masks. They are not, as Lieutenant Palmer has pointed out, they are not the N95 masks, but I know that the CDC and the Surgeon General at the federal level has encouraged individuals that cannot obtain one of these higher quality masks to begin to wear really practically anything that they can manufacture. And there are some YouTube videos that show how to make a personal mask. But ultimately, I do think that the community has been very supportive through a number of people making masks that we can begin to identify some sources as well.
Also, this is a Mayor,
I
hold on, one person at a time. This is Mayor McFarland also, and I will tell you that we have been very active in this area with the county, and there are masks out there available. I'm going to ask LaTanya if she will please follow up tomorrow, and we'll put on our website, our COVID-19 website, locations that people can go to buy this product. I know there's a lot of it.
Mayor, you're my hero tonight.
It's starting to come in, and I know a pharmacy here in town that has access to a lot of it. So we'll put that out on COVID-19 and on our website, casagrandeaz.gov/COVID-19, and we'll have all the locations around the county that they can find this product. Will that help?
Thank you. Oh, yeah, Mayor. Thank you so much. We just need to give it our best effort, and I think that's what you're setting up to do, and I trust that you'll be successful at that. And I also want to go back to all of the first responders. You guys are our heroes, and so we definitely want to make sure that you're protected and have access to the money and the things you need as you do your job. And as I say, you're just the way our country is right now, the ones of you that are involved in as first responders or as nurses or the others that work, they're the heroes in our country right now. So I'm glad to know, Chief, that our police department and our fire will be protected, because that is of ultimate importance. So thank you.
Mary, did you have something you wanted to add?
I reiterate. I just didn't want there to be a misunderstanding. I understand what this grant has always been and the limitations on it. And my question kind of was that at what point in time would it be proper for us, and maybe that's a conversation one-on-one with the city manager about seeing what we can do about providing protection to our public in general who don't have that protection.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And we can have a further conversation on the public assistance grants, which we are not getting from the federal government. So unlike Mesa that got $90 million, we have received nothing. So I want to make sure that's clear.
Does it look like we'll get any, Mayor, or is that just we totally ignored?
At this point in time, we're being ignored. So, but it's not a dead issue,
Oh,
and
boy.
we can talk about that a little bit about that more later. It's not obviously it's not an agenda item, so I apologize for kind of cutting everybody off. So, okay, any other questions on G5?
I would move approval of G5 as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Yes, Mr. Powell, would you mind? Actually, I'll ask for the resolution number. I'm sorry. Gloria, you want to give us a resolution number, please?
Resolution number 5227, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, authorizing the submission of a grant application for coronavirus emergency supplemental funding to the U.S. Department of Justice, authorizing the city to accept grant funds from the U.S. Department of Justice in an expected amount of up to $64,568 on behalf of the Casa Grande Police Department, authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice, authorizing the city finance director to accept and disperse funds as necessary, and authorizing the transfer of budget authority.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 5227 as read.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now, can I get a roll call vote, please, Gloria?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, the next item on our agenda is item K, ordinances and resolutions. Consider resolution number 5229. Mr. Tice?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This agenda item pertains to a ordinance approving an annexation and initial zoning, as well as a resolution approving an infrastructure and services plan. Hopefully everyone can see the PowerPoint on the screen, and so I'm going to work through that with you. Can you progress it, Steve? Didn't progress when I hit it.
And by the way, Mayor, that's just Chief McCrory and Lieutenant Palmer leaving the meeting, so.
Perfect, okay. So, staff refers to this as the Northwest Infill Annexation Request. Happens to be about 740 acres, generally located north of the Maricopa-Casa Grande Highway between Burris and Bianco Roads, and I'm going to next show you a graphic exactly where that's located. How's that? Better? Okay. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the outline on the screen shows you the proposed 740-acre annexation site in relation to the rest of the city, at least the western portion of our city. The brown area, the darker brown, is area within the city limits currently, and the lighter kind of beige area is unincorporated county outside of the city. So you can see that this annexation will be just adding property to the western end of the city. It will not be creating a county island. You can see to the north, the unincorporated area of the county, which in a second I'm going to show you that we are leaving a little corridor on the west end of this annexation, so we do not create a county island to the north that would violate state statute. Can we have the next slide, please? And one more. So this slide gives you a blow-up of the actual annexation area and all of the parcels included in the annexation area. A couple things about the parcels. There are 11 property owners of these various parcels, and we're going to talk about those in just a second. And you can see on the west end of the annexation that corridor that goes to the north that allows us connectivity between the unincorporated county to the north and the unincorporated county to the south. Next slide, please. I'm just going to chat for just a second about the infrastructure and services plan. State law does require that we provide an infrastructure and services plan showing how we can provide infrastructure and services to any proposed annexation within a 10-year horizon. We've prepared the infrastructure plan, and we believe that infrastructure, both water, wastewater, and roads, are in very close proximity to this site and will allow us to be served very easily upon development. Next slide, please. As you saw, the boundary, how this potential annexation extends the city boundary on the west end of our city, we believe it's a very logical and appropriate extension of the city boundaries. It meets all the requirements of the Arizona Revised Statute. We did file a blank petition and associated annexation map with the Pinal County Clerk in November of 2019. City Council held a public hearing on this annexation in accordance with the state procedures on December 2nd of 2019. If you recall, no one spoke at that public hearing. We did seek property owner signatures on the petition after the 30-day wait period after the public hearing, and 6 out of the 11 impacted property owners have signed the annexation petition, which was recorded on April 14th. The 6 property owners represent 54.5% of the ownership and 77% of the value, which exceeds the required 50% of property owners and 50% of the property value required by the state statute. This table shows you those 11 property owners, and the ones with the blue highlight are the ones that have actual signed. So you can see the actual owners and who have signed. I might reiterate that none of these property owners objected to the annexation, but 6 out of the 11 actually signed the petition, formally consenting. This graphic shows you the ownership of those that signed versus those that did not sign. The 6 property owners that signed, their holdings are represented in blue, and the 5 that did not sign are within the annexation area, but they're in the lighter color gray. The state law also requires that when we annex property, we grant it an initial zoning classification that is offers no greater development rights to the property than those development rights allowed under its current county zoning. This property is currently zoned general rural in the county, so our initial zoning upon annexation would be urban ranch. That would be equivalent to its current county zoning. I will note that much of this property is located in our manufacturing and industry general plan category, and we would expect in the foreseeable future for some of the property owners to come forward and ask for a zone change from urban ranch into an industrial zone in compliance with our general plan. A fiscal impact analysis was not prepared. It's not a statutory requirement, and we believe that there's really minimal impact upon the city with the annexation fiscal impact, since there really is no infrastructure that we're annexing for us to maintain. Basically, it's raw ground, and any future infrastructure will be built to city standards and then maintained and accepted per our standard requirements. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council approve the resolution adopting the infrastructure and services plan, and we also recommend that the mayor and city council approve the ordinance approving the annexation in the initial city zoning of urban ranch. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I don't believe this is a public hearing, Mayor, because we held one of those prior, but that concludes my presentation.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay. My question is, I'm looking at the values here on the ownership list. Are those values based upon assessed values, or where do those numbers come from?
Those numbers come from the county assessor's database, and I'm assuming that they're full cash value numbers.
The full cash value? Okay,
Full
thank
cash
you.
value from the county assessor's database, yes.
All right, thank you.
Paul, one of the things that I think is really good about the zoning of urban ranch is that you do have people that ranch, you do have people that grow crops, you do have people that do development, and as you say, there'll be some changes in zoning as time goes on, but a lot of people, there's a lot of things they can do in that area with the zoning under urban ranch, and I think that was something that kind of was cream on top of the hot coffee to kind of make it better for everybody, that they could still do their ranching, their farming, their building of homes, whatever it is that they were involved in.
Ms. Mayor McFarland, Councilman Powell, that's correct. The urban ranch zoning that was being adopted with this ordinance is very equivalent to the county general rural zoning. So all of those typical agricultural activities that were allowed in the county zoning would still be allowed in the urban ranch zoning. That's correct.
Right, right. No, I think that makes it very acceptable.
Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, hearing none, then I'll entertain a resolution number, please, Gloria.
Resolution number 5229, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the Northwest Infill Annexation Area Infrastructure and Services Plan.
Mayor McFarland, I move for the adoption of resolution number 5229 as presented.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Get a roll call vote on the resolution, please.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Courtson.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Absolutely.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, so we also have an ordinance number here. Can I get an ordinance number, please, Gloria?
Ordinance number 1178.402, an ordinance extending and increasing the corporate limits of the city of Casa Grande, Pinal County, State of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Article 7, Arizona Revised Statutes and amendments thereto, by annexing thereto certain territory contiguous to the existing city limits of the city of Casa Grande, known as the Northwest Infill Annexation, and authorizing initial zoning of urban ranch for said territory.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.402 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Courtson.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons,
Yes?
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right. So that really concludes tonight's agenda, other than reports. So I think what we'll do is, if you will, I'll start with, let's start with Lisa Fitzgibbons. Lisa, you go first.
Oh. Okay, Mayor, thank you. Just wanted to actually, Mayor, I just wanted to thank you for, and Larry and all the staff for the constant communication. You know, it's definitely tough to keep up with everything that's going on, and you guys have done a great job communicating what's happening with your meetings with the county and with the state and on a national level. So, you know, we know there's many trying times right now for everyone, and as much as we all want to get back out on the streets and working and all the activities, we want to make sure that we're safe. So I did want to, of course, thank all the, the public safety personnel, our police and fire, and, our healthcare providers and grocery workers and mail carriers. And I mean, there's so many people, teachers and all the schools. But, I just want to make sure as we continue to start opening up, to continue the communication with the public, make sure they're practicing, the guidelines from the CDC, which are the masks. Of course, Councilmember Powell brought up some of the needs. It is hard to find hand sanitizer when you go to the grocery stores or drug stores, and and toilet paper still, and masks, but I think if there's resources are available, I think it is important to share with the community how to get those, and also to continue the social distancing. I did want to make sure that everyone that is watching and have family members or themselves that are in need of rental assistance and some other things going on. CARA, which is the Community Action Human Resource Agency, has been a huge resource during these times. The mayor and I did a public service announcement this week, but for those people that need help, definitely go on CARA's website or contact them at 520-466-1112. There's so many people missing these important milestones. I have two of them myself. I had two graduations that, it's heartbreaking when your kids work so hard for, college, and you come to the point where you can't go out and celebrate. I mean, it's hard to even go out and give them a hug. But I think, we all have to remember that there's so many people that are going through these things, and, maybe try to find some creative, safe ways to celebrate with your graduates and your families. So, and on the final note, I just wanted to remember everyone as you're home, please, the census is so important to our community, and it takes 10 minutes at the most to fill out your census. If you haven't done it yet, please go on uscensus.gov and fill out the census. Casa Grande's doing decent. We're at a 52.9% response rate. The national is 54, and Pinal County is 46. So, we're a little lower than national, a little higher than Pinal County, but I really, really encourage all of you that are watching to make sure you go on and fill out the census. So, again, thank you to everyone for just being patient, and please stay safe and stay healthy. And again, Mayor, thank you for all your communication. I apologize for the long reply here.
No worries. Okay, Donna, would you like to go next, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I would just like to, emphasize what Lisa said, that, the mayor, you've had such great leadership through all this, and I know that I appreciate it. And in talking to a lot of people in the community, they understand that we're doing the best that we can. And it's so easy, as all of you are probably getting emails and phone calls like I am, of people that are upset about, our community closing, I think it's real easy to look at just the negative. But the positive is we have had thousands of people that are following the rules and doing what they're supposed to do, and so many of our businesses that have come through, and even though it's hurting them, they're following the rules. And I just want to acknowledge them because I know they're losing money. I know that, it's their life savings that they're looking at, and still they're following the rules. So for that, I thank them. Just a couple other quick things. Today is International Firefighters Day, so thank you to our fire department. And also, this week is National Peace Officer Memorial Week, and just remembering Tate Lynch and all the police that have given their lives in the line of duty. And lastly, May 6th, of last year was our opening, I believe, for our community center, and what a year we've had. And I just want to leave on a positive note, thanking all of our community services staff and Steve for all the stuff that they've done over the past year. And I can't wait to get back on the track and see people and start enjoying the community center again. So with that, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. All right, Ms. Kortson, Mary?
Yes, just to reiterate again, is that to express my appreciation for the efforts of our mayor, the city manager, and his staff to keep council apprised and up to date regarding the coronavirus and its effects on our community, residents, and businesses. They've provided our community with much information for the programs available to our residents and businesses. I've made a point of passing those on to the folks that I know, and they've said how much they do appreciate having that. I also want to thank our residents and businesses for adhering to the guidelines. I know it's frustrating. It can be so discouraging. The governor has just now announced a lessening of restrictions, and if we act smart and we pay attention, we can reopen sooner than later, but we've got to be smart about it. And that's about all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Mary. Mr. Powell?
Well, I will tell people that I have way more hair growing down my neck than I do on top of my head right now. So
I give haircuts.
Well, I may need one. I just wanted to hit a topic of water, which is so important, and this is an opinion piece that was in the Republic, and Joanna Allhands with the Arizona Republic has done quite a bit on water. But Buckeye's plan reveals an inconvenient truth. We're all after the same water, and a lot of others give Buckeye the credit for a water plan to help it grow sustainably, but it's going to be an estimated $600+ million in upfront cost to buy the water spelled out in the plan, not to mention the $30-ish million in annual cost, nearly a third of the city's budget operating, and it's not necessarily a given that they will get the water, or once they have it, how long it might last. And one of the things in here is a lot of other users are eyeing these same pots of water, including those in Pinell County, where over-reliance on groundwater has created unmet demand that threatens to stop growth, which we're all aware of. And the Harquahila is one of the best basins that there is anywhere in Arizona. And the idea has long been to mine the Harquahila groundwater and move it via the Central Arizona Project to thirsty cities downstream. Well, the ones downstream are the Phoenix metropolitan area, obviously. And one of they conclude this basically that it creates two scenarios. Either water acquisition becomes a free-for-all with cities and developers elbowing for the same pots that will eventually run out, or we do more to work together on bigger and more renewable solutions. And I'm going to send her another copy of the water harvesting plan, because that is new water, and it would be a solution to it. So wanted just to keep council up on that.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Mr. Herman,
You
Matt?
bet.
Thank you, Mayor. Everything was covered very well. I appreciate everybody's help with the communication. and also hope that our local businesses are getting the help they need with the PPP program. All the resources that we have are available from the city website and the Chamber of Commerce website that will help people. Also, wanted to say there was a great, on a high note, there was a great feature on Arizona AZ Central and also in the Arizona Republic print paper about our neon sign park. It was a great article, great pictures, and really promoting our city. Hopefully people go there in social distance and can enjoy that at night. And just wanted to thank Marge Jantz, Rena Rain, all the citizens that voted for the grant, and CG Chat for helping us get the grant to start the Neon Sign Park, and we're up for an award soon to be named. So hopefully we'll win that award from the state. And just want to remind everyone, be safe, stick together, albeit 6 feet apart. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Don't forget that 6 feet apart. Bob, Mr. Huddleston?
Yes, Mayor. I wanted to echo what everybody else has said, especially thanks to you and Larry for keeping us well informed. I think it was already pointed out that we had some good news from the governor today about bringing some of these limitations, lifting them. I just wanted to say that I know there are a lot of people out there hurting right now, especially the servers in bars and restaurants that have had their livelihood all but eliminated. I know there is some relief out there for them, but it's just not nearly enough. And I think, or I hope, that we can all work together and use common sense prevention in order to get these businesses back up and running and get people employed. I'm hopeful that's exactly what will happen. But we're all in this together, and I know we're working together to try to pull ourselves out of it. Thank you. That's all I had.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Okay, that leaves me. Just several things. I know it was mentioned briefly, but the governor did come out with another executive order today, which is going to open up hair salons and nail facilities effective this Friday, May 8th. So if you are one of those types of businesses, please go to our website. You can find the governor's executive order there. You can also find the guidances that he has put together, which is how you can go about opening up. There will be requirements. It's going to be some limited occupancy. It will be reservations. There's no waiting area. There'll be, you'll have to have facial coverings, masks, that sort of thing, sanitizers, sanitizing after each service. So, and I know a lot of you do that already. This is just common practice, but please follow the guidance. They are available, and you can find them on our website. Also, a bit of good news also for the dine-in restaurants. He did open that up to begin allowing dine-in restaurants effective Monday, May 11th. So after the weekend of May 8th, they will allow the restaurants to begin to open. So if you are a restaurant and know somebody who is, please let them know so they can begin to plan. This will give you at least a week's notice, a week opportunity to start hopefully finding some of your employees if you furloughed them. But there's some good information out there. Again, go to our website. You can see the entire executive order. He also is allowing the opening of businesses effective today that sell product. But again, on appointment only until this Friday, which then they will open up for to allow people to come in. But if you've been to a Home Depot or you've been to even Walmart today, they are only allowing so many people in, and so as one comes out, then somebody can go in. So that's going to be kind of the new norm for a while. This whole, we're going to try and put together a campaign. It's going to be called Come Back Smart CG. And the SMART stands for use your sleeve to cover your cough and sneeze, mask up in public, be apart 6 feet, rinse your hands for at least 20 seconds while you're washing them, and sanitize your space, okay? So SMART, be smart, CG. So let's move forward. Let's take this good news and start to open back up, but we need to do it smartly. If you do have, if you're in a situation where your immunity is compromised, I'd suggest you not go out. If you feel sick, please stay home. The other key to this is testing. The state has ramped up testing. They started this last weekend. They're going to try and do 20 to 30,000 tests a week now. And I keep looking at the numbers, and the numbers are slowly starting to come down, but that's because you all are doing a great job. So we just want to make sure, again, to remind everybody to please be smart. The city is going to look at, in the next day or two, a plan to reopen some of our parks and some of our amenities. I can't get into all the detail on it right now because we're still working out some of the details. We had to remove some basketball hoops and some other little things like that. So we're going to figure out how long it's going to take our good parks and recreation folks to get that back up. There will be signs out there. We will be reminding you to keep 6 feet apart, no groups of larger than 10. And this is phase 1 of the opening up. I expect that you'll see 2 more phases after this, a phase 2 and a phase 3. And hopefully by the time we get to the end of phase 3, things will be somewhat normal. I think you're going to continue to see masking, sanitizing, washing your hands, keeping your distance from people in public unless, it's family members. But I believe that's going to be the new norm, at least until a vaccine is found. So please be patient, please be kind to your fellow citizens, and be safe out there. And thank you for everything that you all do. Anybody else?
Mayor, could just quick comment?
Yes, sir, Mr. Powell.
I know that 6 feet apart is way better than 6 feet under. As far as the restaurants go, is it going to be limited, like Walmart and the others, to so many people being able to go in at a time, or are they going to just be able to open up?
I don't think there's. In fact, I read through it. There is not a specific limitation. They're not going to say you can only have 25% of your occupancy, but it will be dictated by keeping groups 6 feet apart. So if you have a lot of space, you can probably fit a lot of people in there. But if you don't have a lot of space, then it's going to be more difficult. But that's the rules as I've read them, and I'm sure that as we move forward, we'll get more and more clarification. And I did want to mention, too, that we're also going to look at the dog park, the gun range, North Mountain Park, which we did close during this time frame. So those are some of the items that we're looking at. Also, our courts, the tennis courts and pickleball courts. So as soon as we can kind of work that out, we will get that information out to everybody, and hopefully we can start to open up effective this coming Friday. And we'll let you know how much of that we are going to open up. Okay? Just want to let everybody know that. Anybody else have any other comments? Okay.
I just want to agree with some of the others that I really compliment you on your leadership, and appreciate how much time and effort that you're using to try to keep everybody abreast of where this pandemic is and what's happening and what needs to happen. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Anyone else?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, hearing no one, then.
And Larry and everyone.
Meeting adjourned. How loud does that sound when I leave the mic on?
Thank you.